On behalf of the Archives and History Committee, First Baptist Church, we'd like to welcome Korean War veteran David Musgrove this morning, and we'll talk about some of his experiences while he served his country during the Korean War. David, first of all, just as a background about you, for those who don't know you well, could you give us a little background history of where you were born and a little bit of your growing up before you went into the Navy?
Okay, I was born in Brilliant, Alabama, which is just above Winfield, Alabama, and that's where I grew up, mostly in Winfield. Graduated from high school in 1950 and took a job in a dry cleaning plant, driving a truck and pressing clothes. But there wasn't much going on there for us, in Winfield. So a bunch of us guys got together one night and decided we wanted to join the Navy, and we did. In a day or so, we drove over to Tupelo, Mississippi, which wasn't far from there. It's the closest Navy base around. And we enlisted there. So right away, they sent us, just a day or so later, sent us to Birmingham for the physical and swearing in and all that. And we did that, went to Birmingham, and they sent there was four of us, sent us to San Diego on a commercial flight, which we'd never even seen one, much less been on one before. But we made it fine and went to boot camp in San Diego.
San Diego was a big naval center back then. It probably still is.
It still is, yes.
And so you went through boot camp, and what were your assignments after that?
Well, in boot camp, I made grades good enough to get me into aviation, which is what I wanted. So they sent me to school in Jacksonville, Naval Air Station in Jacksonville, for, I think it was an 8-week school. Basic aviation school. Completed that, and then they sent me up to Millington, that's in Memphis, to another school to be a aircraft structural mechanic. I think that was 14-week school.
And after that?
They then sent me back to San Diego to the Naval Air Station to join up with Attack Squadron 55. It was an AD squadron getting ready to go to Korea. So we went aboard the USS Essex and left San Diego, went through Hawaii for ORI, and then went on to the Philippines and Hong Kong, and then on up to the Korean operating area.
And what year was this?
That would have been in 52, I believe.
Okay. I think the Korean War just started around 1950, didn't it?
Somewhere along in there, yeah.
And so how long were you out there in the area of the Korean War?
On that cruise, I think it was about an 8 or 9 months cruise.
Oh, boy.
In and out of Japan for replenishment and stuff like that.
Yeah. So did you find it a real adventure? Or did you feel like you were in danger? Or how was it from the Navy standpoint? We'd have general quarters. Most of the time it would be just a drill. Yeah.
But once or twice we did have airplanes coming towards the ship from China or wherever they came from, And but our airplanes already would, they'd launch and they'd drive them off. And we never were in a real danger at that time on the ship.
So you were out there about, say, 8 or 9 months?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you told me earlier that you served about 4 years in the Navy.
Right.
So what else did you do after that?
Well, let's see. I made another, after we got through with that cruise, went back to NAS Miramar, which is in San Diego, and stayed a while, and then I was in VF 121 at that time as a fighter squadron. And so then we went back on the Boxer, USS Boxer, on another Korean cruise. But by then, the treaty had already been signed. That was in 53, I think it was.
Well, this is all very interesting. Can you think of any experiences that stand out during either one of those deployments?
Well, yeah, back on the first cruise during Korea, our airplanes would fly all day, and go on bum runs and what have you. And then during the night, which is what I worked mostly, it was night shift, we'd patch bullet holes and fix anything broken on the airplanes. And I do remember once we had one pilot that was he was flying too close to the one right in front of him on a bomb run, and he picked up a lot of bomb blast from the one in front of him. You know, the one in front would drop the bomb, and then he'd get the damage on his airplane from flying so close. So anyway, our skipper sent that pilot down to work with us one night to help fix that airplane, patch the bullet holes. But the sad part is, a day or two later, that pilot was shot down and killed.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. But that was something that bothered me for a while.
Well, we thank you for your service to your country during the Korean conflict, and sounds like it was a big part of your life, and probably
Well, at that
always
time it
remember
was,
it.
yeah.
Do you feel like that your service in the military and the things that you did as far as working on airplanes prepared you for something that you could do later on in life?
Yes, it did. When I got out of the Navy, I took a job with civil service down at Craig Air Force Base in Selma and worked a while. And down there, I enrolled in an extension course at the University of Alabama for a short time. But I realized I'd been out of school so long I just couldn't get used to studying again, so I dropped out. And then later, right after that, I got another job at Lockheed Aircraft in Marietta, Georgia. And anyway, then Delta Airlines. I worked there 30 years. So the Navy helped me get prepared for all of that, you know.
Well, I think that's a wonderful story,
Yeah.
to be able to tell that you served 4 years in the Navy and you served
Yeah.
4 years in danger. But when you got out, you were able to use those same skills to better your life.
Yeah.
And pretty much was the backbone of what you did for the rest of your working career, I guess.
I really enjoyed that career because, you know, working at Delta and other places, it was good experience.
I guess if you could change anything in that decision to go into the Navy, you wouldn't change it, would you?
No. In fact, at that time, when I went into the Navy, I didn't realize that was going to be all those benefits for me. But it turned out it was.
Well, that's a great story. Can you think of any other highlights that we may have missed that you'd like to tell us about your experiences while you were serving?
Well, there was one thing that really got to me. When we was out there in Korea, off the coast of Korea, a lot of times we'd be by ourselves, just one carrier, maybe one or two destroyers with us. But then, and we had darkened ship all the time, so you couldn't see what was happening at night, you know. But then you go up there the next morning, there'd be ships all over, all around you. Other carriers and battleships and cruisers. So they just all came together, you know, whenever they had it planned to do so, I guess.
And it was all in the dark of the night.
That's right, yeah.
Well, this is an interesting story, and we appreciate you taking your time to come tell us about your experiences in the Navy during the Korean conflict. And we thank you for doing this. Is anything you think we may have left out that would enlighten us more?
I can't think of anything, Julian, right now, but thank you for doing this.
Well, we're proud to have you on, and we're proud of you for serving your country for 4 years. And we're proud to have you serving this church. And we're glad to have you in LaGrange. How long have you been here now?
Just a little over 20 years.
Oh, well, gosh.
At the church here, though, we came here in '98
Okay.
to this church. We were in another church before that here.
Well, we're glad to have you in this church.
Thank you.
And we thank you for this. And the copy of this tape of this interview, we'll have a copy for you. And we'll also have a copy in the library, and the archives will have a copy, and I think the downtown museum will have a copy. So we appreciate you doing this, and we look forward to you looking at this video and saying, well, I hope we told it like it was. I guess we did.
Well, I hope so, too. My memory's not too good anymore, but
Oh, come on. You did good, David. Thank you, and God bless you.
thank you, Julian.